Hey everybody. We back. We are back. We are back and better than ever. I'm sorry that I've been gone for a couple weeks. You know, life got out of hand for me for a second. And so, please charge it to my head and not my heart. We should be good from here on out. Okay, so I'm trying to get my notes together because I took notes because I just don't want to come on here and ramble for 30 to 45 minutes and it's not helpful to you and or me or whoever comes across this particular podcast. So, today we're going to talk about transparency, and we're going to talk about being yourself at all times and how sometimes being yourself in different venues will look different. Because sometimes you can be a version of yourself, and that version of yourself will morph depending on where you are and who you are around. And I call that coping skills. We call it code switching. You know, It is a number of different things that we use in this everyday life to get through and get over certain situations. So I also want to talk about letting go. Then you know how they say the sermon always comes to the minister first before it ministers to me first before it ministers. I can minister it to the people. I have learned in this life that sometimes some things you just gotta let it go. Whether you have closure or not, even if you are right about the situation, sometimes your peace is worth more than you being right. Sometimes you just have to let it go and just let them have it, and that just be what it is. And you can't take that into your spirit because it's going to damage you. So you have to just let it go for your own peace of mind. That also comes with being that is part and parcel with that being the bigger person in certain situations. Sometimes it's more important for you to have peace than it is for you to be right in the situation. You can know you're right, but you can just be like, sit there and be like, okay, you got it. Because it's not worth the argument. It's not worth the tear down. It's not worth any of those things. You just have to learn to just be like, okay. In your head, you can be like, that's great. You're wrong, but okay, sure. It's if you 2 + 2 is 6, then yes, it's 6, girl. Because when you carry the 2 and do the multiplier, then yes, it's 6. I would have that's not my ministry mug, but it's in the dishwasher. So I also want to touch on forgiveness a little bit. And just to say that you can forgive someone about a situation, but just because you forgive them doesn't mean you have to continue to engage with that particular person. I am a huge fan of we good. I just don't mess with you anymore. I saw you was moving funny, so I moved right out of your way. No ill will, no harm. We cooler than the other side of the pillow. I just I see how you moving, and that's just not something that I'm okay with, and not something that I can do. So I'm just gonna remove myself from the situation. You and I are good. We good. You said you were sorry. I said I forgive you. But when people show you who they are, I tend to believe them, and then I govern myself accordingly. You'll save yourself a whole lot of heartache and headache if you put that into practice in your life. Trust me, believe me when I tell you. If you just be like, okay, if you peep something, you don't always have to make a huge scene about it either. You peep something and be like, okay, I see. Okay. Got it. And then you govern yourself accordingly. because I see how you move in this situation. So here's what I'm going to do to continue to protect myself and my peace. I'm just going to slide to the left. We still good. I still love you, but I'm going to be over here. We can eat. We just can't eat together at the same table because that's just not what I can do as a person. And you can do that and still and not be disagreeable and mean and nasty and rude to people. So, I am going to give, because this is about transparency and forgiveness and moving on and letting go and stepping back and things of that nature. I am going to give y'all my story about this young lady who is under the impression that she is my half sister. So y'all know my parents. I don't know if y'all know. Let me give you a little background. Let's go into this. I'm sorry, my ankle itches. Okay, Jesus. So my parents were married for 20 some odd years. There was an infidelity on behalf of my father. And it was yet another scheme cooked up by Todd. There was this young lady who plotted and planned. This is not something that we think. This is something that we know. This is something that she said out loud to other people, that her goal was to get my father and to have him be her man. And so she posed as my sister's friend to gain entrance into our family to that end. Now, my father had had a vasectomy and he cannot have children. But this young woman tried to use the I'm pregnant situation to and further capsulate my father into their shenanigans. So my father left to go be with this woman. He chose her over us. And my father was he was a great dad. I was a daddy's girl up until he decided that they were more important than us. He forgot that I existed. I carry a lot of hurt and I have slight abandonment issues because of this. I've worked on these in the 30 some odd years since this has happened, but it's still, it is still a wound that I carry. That he chose them over essentially me, because it's your life, you make it about you. He literally, and this is part of the reason why I do not like that stereotypical, oh, she's a strong Black woman, dot 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 dot. And here's part of my personal reason as to why that is. My father said to me at the age of, I want to say 15 or 16, when we finally got a chance to talk about this, he said to me, I waited for your sister to graduate high school because your sister is the sensitive one and things like that. But I know you're the strong one and you could take it. And he said that thinking that he was giving me a compliment, that you are strong, you don't need me, that you would be okay. I knew that you would be okay. When in fact, he said that to me as a compliment. But what I heard, what I interpreted from what he said was, you weren't worth me waiting for. You weren't worth me waiting for you to graduate high school to end our situation or do whatever it is that I was going to do. You weren't worth the wait. That is what I heard. And I have carried that with me, and it has manifested in some of the men that I have picked to be with in relationships. And it's part of the reason why sometimes I feel like I suffer from imposter syndrome. It's why sometimes people see more value in me than I see in myself. I'm actively working through that. I have become aware of who I am as a person, like my inner, this is getting very young, my inner being. I know that my very presence shifts atmospheres. I know that I have come into the awareness of that. I'm not fully there in the power of using that yet, when in the manner in which it comes to ministry and things of that nature, because there's still a part of me that feels like there's doubt. There's still a part of me that doubts it all. Because if my own father, who I know loved me, didn't think I was enough for wait for, why would anyone else, think I was worth it for any reason? So back to my story. I don't know how we got, I feel like we went left, but back to the story. So my father had a vasectomy, and this lady cried that she was pregnant. Now they had the baby, and this little girl looks exactly like her brother and sister. Now her brother and sister have the same dad, just not my father, who had the vasectomy and could not have children. Um, So this young girl has lived her entire life under the mistaken impression that my dad is her biological father. Now, at this juncture, he has gone on to glory, and so it doesn't even matter. At least it doesn't matter at this point to me, because he gave, whether he's her biological father or not, he gave me up and forgot about me like I didn't exist to be the daddy that I needed to this little girl. So she doesn't understand. Now, me and this little girl, we don't have any type of relationship in any way, shape, form, or fashion. I don't speak to her. I don't know her. She lives in a different state. We are friends on Facebook. So when she gave birth for the first time, I think it was a couple months ago, I said congratulations on her post. That's it. That's it. Congratulations. I'm so happy you had a baby. She's getting married, or she got married. I can't remember. I don't know. I said congratulations. That's the most contact. And when I said congratulations on her post about having a baby, here's the thing that drives me crazy about this whole situation. I have cousins on my dad's side that grew up with me. They have a relationship with this little girl. I do not. They have a relationship with me. They want me to have a relationship with this little girl. Why? I'm not related to her. I don't know her. What do I need to have a relationship? It's not my place to explain what has happened and why it happened the way it happened. It's not my place to disabuse her of the notion of the father that she lived with. That's her daddy. Biological or not, that's her daddy. So it's not my place to bust up her dreams or delusions or whatever about who and what and why. And this is what I know. I have one biological sister. That's my older sister. We have one biological brother. That's my baby brother. I have siblings of my heart. My cousin Rhonda is in every way, shape, form, or fashion. I'll stab a nigga behind that little girl. I have my brother Jerome, who is my best friend, and he's one of the dearest beats of my heart. I love him with every fiber of my being. I have a couple other siblings that my heart chose, but I don't know this little girl, and um I have no onus. I don't have any desire to know this little girl. I have no desire to build a relationship with this young lady. I just don't. I'm 40. No new friends. She's a stranger. Okay. Um, I have no desire to know the young lady. I have no desire to be her friend. I don't want to build any sisterly bonds. She's not my sister. And unfortunately, because my father, the way my father treated his relationship with me when my parents split up and he decided to marry that woman and raise her children as his own and treat me like the lost forgotten child, I got nothing. Now, my cousin, who I love dearly, he used to let me play in his hair as a child. My cousin Kevin, who I know will kill a bear and a gorilla behind me, who, if I say I'm in trouble and I need you, will show up for me. Um, he wants to foster a relationship between us. Why? I don't know. I don't know that little girl. She can stay over there. When I said congratulations on her post about her having a baby, he was like, oh my God, I'm so proud of you. Proud of me for what? I didn't do anything. I was a basic decent human being and I happened to scroll. If Facebook had never shown it to me, I would have never commented on it. I don't go look at her posts. I don't go look at her pages. I don't pay her no mind. So stop trying to make fetch happen. That seems mean, doesn't it? Does that? I feel like it feels mean, but for my mental health, my peace, I don't have to. I don't want to, so therefore I don't have to. Grown woman. I don't have to have a relationship with anyone that I don't want to. It adds no value to my life. Thank you so much. Please go sit down. Get away from me. Thanks. You're a constant reminder of the wound that is scabbed over that my father caused, and he can't fix it because he's gone on glory. So I have learned to fix myself. I've learned to bandage up that wound and heal it as best as I can. And no, I don't want to have a relationship with you to pick at that wound. Why would I want to do that? That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know how I got here. That doesn't make any sense to me as a person. I know other people is like, oh, but that's your sister. No, it is not. It is not. I know who my sister is. I have one sister. And I'm very consistent in that. And people tend to think that I'm being shady when I like mention like siblings in any shape, form, or fashion, like National Sibling Day. I mentioned my sister, I mentioned my cousin Sharonda, and I mentioned my best friend Jerome, and that's it. Happy Sibling Day, because those are my siblings. Point blank, period, the end. I have no familiar relationship with this little girl. We are not related in any way, shape, form, or fashion. So I do not know what they want from you, from me. I don't know how I got, okay, being transparent. Okay, so that's a little transparency from me about this particular familial relationship. There is none, and if my dad had not walked away from me and it was like I didn't exist, then maybe it would be something different with us, but he did, and this is where it is. So there is that. And I know he tried to, I had moved out of Virginia at that juncture, but he tried to gather everyone because he knew he was coming to the end and get it right. He was unable to. He was unable to get in contact with me, I guess, because I don't know. I don't know, but whatever it was, it wasn't happening. If y'all thought I'm rowdy now, take it back 10, 15 years and think how rowdy I was then. Baby, I knew that wouldn't fit happen. So let's talk a little bit about imposter syndrome. And sometimes you underestimate who you are and the value that you bring to certain situations, which can cause you to suffer from imposter syndrome. Um, so you can walk into a situation and people were like, "Oh my God, you were so great. You did that, that, that." And you're like, "Are you sure?" Because you sometimes, because you are in the picture frame, sometimes you can't see the whole picture. And so you can't get the fullness thereof of who you are as a person. And to that, I would say this: get to know yourself. Get to know who you are in every situation. Be honest with yourself. Um, you can lie to the world, but don't lie to yourself. Don't lie to yourself. You know, um, people think that I am under the mistaken impression that I am a mean person. I feel like that sometimes I can be mean. I do. I feel like sometimes I can be mean. And some people was like, "Oh no, Ebony, you're the nicest person, blah 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 blah." I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, you don't hear the thoughts that ramble on inside my head sometimes. I guess I'm a nice person because I don't let it all fall out my mouth. I have developed somewhat of a filter, but when I say I genuinely don't like most people, I don't like people. I don't like people in general, but there are certain people that now, if you ain't never done nothing to me and there's just something about you that don't sit right in my spirit, I won't be nasty. I'm never like outwardly nasty to anyone unless they give me that energy. And then if you give me stank energy, I will absolutely return the same energy to you. But I don't go out of and I don't never understand how people do that. Like some people, they never did anything to you. Not nothing. All they said was hi. And then you be like, this stink ass, ba 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 ba. And I be looking like, well, what did they pee on you? What happened? Did they spit in your face? No, I just don't like the way she thinks she. Da, 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 da. Oh, you don't like how she likes herself? Do you not like yourself? Is that what that is? So you're mad at them because they like themselves and you don't like yourself in the same manner. So you're gonna project your stank energy onto them. That doesn't even make okay. Okay. If you I don't even know where that came from. So I feel like I'd be going off on tangents and like they don't need to. We're going to bring it back around. So with the imposter syndrome, this is what I want you to do. When you are feeling like you are not enough, that you don't think you deserve whatever it is that's going on right in your life, I need you to do some positive affirmations. If you don't have to stand in the mirror to do, you can whisper it in your spirit, man. However you got to do it to get it out. I am enough. I am loved. I am worthy. I am beautiful. I am successful. Give yourself the positive affirmations. Reaffirm yourself. You need to be okay with everything that's happening in here. You can, like, I don't like such and such and so and so, and I'm okay with that. You don't have to be okay with that. That's you. But I am okay with whatever it is that I have going on the inside of me. It'll give you a lot more peace in your life. It'll give you a lot more solace, like you won't be as upset, you'll be unmovable. Don't let your imposter syndrome allow people to push you and sway you. Let your no be no and be okay with the no. When people don't accept your no, it's because they want to control what it is that you got going on. Let your no be no. Let your no, let your yes be yes and your no be no. Don't be wishy-washy with it. This is going to, I feel like this was very short for this particular episode. I feel like I got all of the points out that I wanted to. Listen, let's create a dialogue about being transparent and getting to know yourself and loving yourself and affirming yourself and letting your yes be yes and your no be no. Let's get down in the comments and talk about it. What do you feel like you need to stand firm, to let your word be enough and your presence be enough when you walk into a room? I feel like there's like 15 different things, but I really want to talk to y'all about it. I really feel like this could be a great dialogue and a good conversation about being transparent about who you are as a person, getting to know yourself. What will you stand for? What will you fall for? What hill are you going to die on? Being your transparent self, not letting other people project their foolishness onto you. I'm not going to get into the conversation about the bonnets and outside and stuff. Woo, Jesus, because that was a whole thing the other day. But don't allow other people's perceptions to be projected onto you because that's how they feel about a particular situation. Don't let any man tell you that because you have on a wig or a weave or you have, you straighten your hair or you colored it, dyed it blonde or something, mean that you don't love yourself. It doesn't even make sense. It's the epitome, all of that is the epitome of self-care and self-love. At least it is for me. As pampering myself is one of my love languages. Going to get my eyebrows arched, going to get my hair done, going to get my nails done, going to get my toes done. All of those are self-care. And it's the height of self-love for myself. Don't allow people to project their biases onto you. Bounce them off of your shield like you Captain America. Ping, ping. No, we're not doing that. You're not going to do that. Not to me. Because I know myself and I love myself. And we not doing that. I don't know how we got there either. Okay, so I feel like before I go into another rambling tangent, because I feel like this was a bunch of rambling tangents, I am going to end it right here. Thank y'all for coming and listening to another episode of That's Not My Ministry. If you have any questions, drop them down in the comments or email me at that'snotmyministry@gmail.com. And I will be more than happy to either answer them in another podcast or I will respond specifically to your email if that's how you want it. Thank y'all for coming out. I'm going to get a theme song. I don't know how I'm going to get a theme song, but I'm going to get a theme song for this podcast. But until then, I will see you next time.